Hey guys, it's Bobby here. Just wanted to jump in and tell you that registration for our Jigs and Bigs Listeners Tournament for the month of July is officially open. Remember, all you got to do to register is download the Fishing Chaos app. Once that's downloaded, just search Jigs and Bigs. You'll find the July tournament there and you can enter right there. Remember, we always try to put some proceeds toward a great charity. We'll be announcing who that charity is during the tournament on our Instagram and Facebook pages. Make sure to check it out. This is the nationwide multi-species fishing tournament, CPR style, brought to you by Jigs and Bigs. Check it out.
Are you getting yourself ready for our show?
How's everybody doing out there in podcast land? It's Bobby Roast Beef here with Jigs and Bigs for another Tuesday edition. We got a good one for you guys. Today is Father's Day. So there were a lot of our listeners were our dads, and they were out, on the water, some with their families, some kind of taking some time for themselves, like myself. We'll cover that a little bit later. Hope you guys had a great Father's Day. Mine was fantastic. I cannot complain at all. I'm a very, very, very lucky guy. Guys, we just want to take a minute and tell you, we have some amazing stuff going on for you. Stuff that I think you're really going to like in this show. This week, we're going to cover a whole bunch of stuff. We're actually going to talk a little bit about a special upcoming program that we have happening next week. We're going to talk about that. In Just the Tip, I'm going to talk about something that's good for our bank anglers out there, but also something that even those small boat nation guys can totally get something out of. Trust me, you're going to love this episode. It's jam-packed, full of good stuff. I say we go ahead and get to it. I got Sean the Fisherman here. He is hawking down some ice cream, guys. Let's go ahead. We will get this show started. We'll get it started right after this right here. Sean the Fisherman, I did not know that you were so bougie with your frozen confections. I wasn't aware.
Not a choice.
Now
not a choice.
It's
Remember,
not a choice. Oh, that's true. That makes sense. I thought you were just treating yourself.
There's some people it's bougie. Yeah. Other people it's fucking survival.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, unless, of course, except for those that are lactose intolerant, we feel you. We smell you, actually. That is what it is. I apologize. It's going to be a good one. How was your Father's Day, dude?
Man, I told my wife this is the best Father's Day I think I've ever had. She really she didn't hit one home run. She hit for the fucking cycle, man. It was awesome today. I had a great day from start to finish. You want to hear about it?
Yeah, tell me a little bit about it.
Shall I speak?
How did your day go?
It went great. It actually kind of started with a preview last night.
Oh, a preview. Oh, preview.
That sounds extraordinarily risque.
Yeah.
But because my name is Sean the Fisherman and I was given the free pass yesterday.
Oh, wow. Wow.
To fish all day.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I fished all fucking day yesterday. It was great.
Yeah, you had an amazing time. We're going to cover that, get more into detail. But yeah, you had like an amazing day. That's awesome, man. Good for you. Yep. That's huge.
It was great. So yesterday we had a great day. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I came home at, it was near 11 o'clock at night when I finally got home. And my Father's Day spread was already out on the kitchen table. So I got to get a little preview. And I see it, and there's the 3 gifts that I had asked for. Now, when it comes to gifts, I'm not a big surprise guy. I try to be efficient as I can because I'm just like, look, I want these like 10 things, pick out of that. That's how Christmas goes. Or, hey, I know kind of what you're going to spend for Father's Day. Here's what I'm really looking for. This is something I need. And all that stuff was laid out on the table with some actual, I've never seen this before. Have you seen this black wrapping paper?
Black wrapping paper. You know what? I think I have. There's a few varieties though. There's some that are kind of almost textured, and then there's other ones that are matte, where it's just flat black.
Yeah, this was like textured, and it's really easy to write on with some sort of a white ink pen or something like that. So my wife had written my name on a couple of them, but on the longer one, which I'll discuss in a second, the longer one, there was a really, I'm not even going to say crudely, it was really well drawn Northern Pike.
Oh my God, really?
With a voice bubble saying, "Look at me, I'm a Northern Pike."
Holy crap.
That's the kind of humor that goes on in my house, which is fantastic.
Now, I know you're relatively artistically inclined. Who else in your family, who's the artist that did this?
My wife did it.
Really?
She said she looked up a picture or how to draw a Northern Pike and just went from there or some shit. I don't know. She used the internet.
Her.
It's all good. So she did that. And I was like, I was just, my heart melted. I'm like, oh, that's the extra step. That was awesome.
Yeah, put it over the top.
Yeah, it was really, really nice. And then I'm not going to tell the story of this on air, but apparently there was a little bit of leftover paper. Now, my kids, I've got one that is wrapping up middle school and one that is starting up high school. My God, the language on this note that I found between one brother directed at his brother, I'm not going to repeat it on the air, but I was laughing. Like, these are my kids. So what I did was I took that note and I put it on my pile of presents. So I went to bed. My wife was already crashed. I crashed. Woke up this morning. Coffee and breakfast were made for me, which was fucking awesome because I'm the cook of the house. So it's really nice once in a while to have food cooked for me. So I had my normal breakfast, just my wife cooked it, got me the coffee ready, and I'm sitting down. And I come downstairs and I see the note. And they're like, "Hey, do you like your presents?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but what's up with this note?" And my wife and my youngest son look at each other. He was the one who wrote it. And they go, well what's it doing over there? Yeah, well, how'd it get over there? I'm like, I don't know. It was here last night. And they look at each other again. I didn't put it there. And they're getting ready to fight. And I go, I'm kidding. I put it over there, just laughing, So I fucked with them.
Nice. That's the ultimate Father's Day gift right there.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, I talked to you earlier today. I sat down. I had my 15 cups of coffee. I opened up my presents. I received a collectible item. We don't need to get into that right now.
Sure.
It's something I had asked for, which was awesome. I received from my wife, purchased at our friend, Old Glory Outdoors.
Very nice.
Of course. A multi-tool. I haven't had a brand new multi-tool in a long time. The one I had, I inherited, and it's gotten a little rusty. So I needed a new multi-tool, and I got that Sarge brand. If you have anybody ever goes to Old Glory Outdoors, there's a nice big rack and multi-tool. Fucking
knife and multi-tool.
Knife and multi-tool rack. Bibbidi bobbidi boo. In the store right when you walk in, unless Joe has moved it. And they have one multi-tool, and I said, I want that one. My wife picked it up for me. But here's the kicker. With all of the lengthy fish that have been turned in between chronic trips and the Jigs and Bigs online tournaments, I have a 32-inch catch board. I decided to guinea pig myself and asked my wife for the foldable hinged catch board that goes up to 48 inches.
Mm-hmm. We've talked about that on the show before.
Yeah. So what I did was the first thing I opened it up. And what happens is, for those of you who are familiar with the catch board that I have, the original has a 32-inch and the 26-inch have a fixed, I don't know, what would you call it? Like that concave shell on the bottom. It's like a thick plastic that's locked. It's not going anywhere. It's almost like a casing, right?
Yeah.
Well, this 48-inch one has the same thing, except it has two 24-inch pieces with the hinge, and it flips open, and you slide that thing in, and it acts as a lock. And then I just to make sure, because I'm looking at this space between in between the 24 and the 25, and I'm like, man, that looks like an inch, but I want to make sure. So what I did was I extended the board, locked it in place, and then I put a ruler down just to make sure that the 24 and the 25, they all lined up. It was fucking perfect. I'm like, this is good. So as far as I'm concerned right now, anybody who's in the Jigs and Bigs or the Chronic Trips tournaments for the rest of the year, if you're worried about carp, pike, striper, stingrays, I judged a bunch of stingrays today, sharks, go ahead and buy that. They have them on Catch's site. I am not aware if Three Bells has them. They didn't when we were down there, but I think we should talk with Derek and Lauren and say, hey, this might be an item you guys want to carry, because I'm just opening it, not even using it. I'm blown away. And it folds together really, really, really tightly, compact, and it's good to go. So I got that. I got the multi-tool. And then we've been hanging around poolside at my parents' house all afternoon. That's pretty much our day.
That's
we just got home like a half hour ago. Ate burgers. As you're going to start talking here, I'm going to mute myself and pound the ice cream that I bought because I'm a pig. And that's my fucking Father's Day. I may, when we're done recording, I'm really taking this into consideration.
Yep. May
step out on the back porch and have a little nip of Grampy's, sleepy time smoke.
Yeah.
Sleepy time smoke, we'll see what happens. The night is young.
The night is young. And it's a special night. I got to tell you, so my Father's Day was awesome. I need to say this, that when I talk about the items that my family had gotten for me for Father's Day, we're terrible in this house when it comes to gifts. Ironically enough, my wife and I are very efficient as well. Like what we like to do is we each create a wish list on Amazon, and then we share links, and then we're like, for holidays and shit, it works out great. She likes to go off the script a little more often than I do, but I know she's much better at going off script than I am. You might say that she knows me better than me, I guess. So
you might. I mean, just so you know, we do the same thing with the Amazon lists.
Yep.
For Christmas and for Christmas, but for any other holidays, birthday, gift getting occasions.
Yep.
We just say, hey, I want this, I want that.
Yep.
But I'm the one who tends to go off script. My wife likes surprises a little more than I do.
Yeah.
So I really work to make sure that I'm giving something extremely thoughtful that. Yeah, I want to see her eyes light up going like, oh, I can use that. So I get it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And what ends up happening is this, we live in an era where online shopping is the norm. And my wife, months ago, had gone and bought a bunch of those SPF treated performance shirts. And she was like, it's, you're going out and starting to fish, you could probably use these. I'm going to give them to you now. I was like, oh, wow, that's really fantastic. And then I liked them so much, I bought 4 or 5 more. They're the Bass Dash brand. I like them, and especially at the time, they've got a gator built in, plus the hood. I mean, they're really great. So those arrived, and then my kids got me a coffee mug. They love to get me coffee mugs. I think last Father's Day I got a coffee mug as well, saying something like, you're the best catch of a dad, something like that. Cute. This one says DILF. Damn, I love fishing is what it says. And it's got a great picture of a largemouth bass on there. So I was very, very impressed with that. Fantastic. And then my wife splurged a little bit more, and she got me something that she knew I was going to love. And Sean understands the joy that this apparatus brings. It is a neck extender, basically. You put it around your neck and it's inflatable. It has a pump like a cuff does for taking your blood pressure, but it extends up and basically it relieves neck and back pain. Really.
It's like an inflatable portable traction unit.
Basically. Yeah. I've tried it lying down and it's fantastic. I've also
when you were leading, I thought you were going to say, she got me a flashlight.
Yeah, no.
Okay, just check.
Yeah, no, but this thing is freaking unbelievable. I've seen them, on videos before, and I'm just like, I'll bet you that would be fake because I crack my neck all the time, constantly, and a few times that I've gone and had a massage where they do that, the neck extension basically just relieves all this pressure in these upper vertebrae. And it's just, it's unbelievable. Killer. Great gift. So that was amazing. As far as what I did today, I was up before the sun because my boy Paul and we went to a little shithole of a pond locally. I mean, does not have the greatest reputation as a fishery, but we brought the kayaks out there, got out there, and we both got on some fish. Your boy was on the struggle bus significantly for a while there, but I was throwing some baits that I had been trying. I had wanted to start getting some familiarity with, specifically for topwater, is the buzz toad. So I was throwing around one of those. Couldn't get anything to commit to it. switched that up and used a fluke on top water. That was that got a little bit of attention. And then I think, Sean, you've heard me talk about this. I think it's 10,000 Fishes Yodo worm. You've heard me talk about that before. It's like a sort of like a bluegill or a shad profile, but it's got a really, really fine tail to it. I think they call it a tickle tail or something like that, and it's very, very subtle. So I put that on a keel weighted hook, swim bait hook, and it was I was getting follows all over the place. Ultimately, it just got to the point where the sun was just blistering, and I switched it up, and I threw a wacky worm, an old school Hookset Hoodlums wild worm, classic, green and gold. And I hooked the dinkiest of all the dinks. I'll bet you this is the smallest bass in the pond. I'll bet you it was the smallest bass in the pond. Little like 8-incher on a good day. Super tiny bass. So then I was, working that for a little while, had a couple more bites here and there, and I just wanted to kind of switch up where I was. And I noticed that there was this nice little shadow line that I could get up against. So I went over to that bank and started working that bank on my way down. And I was using a swim jig. That was the other bait that I was throwing around, was that 6 Sense Divine swim jig. With, what did I have as a trailer on that? Oh, I had an Exopod. What is it? A Biospawn Exopod. Yep. Great little setup. In fact, when I was rigging that up, I used a little JJ's Magic chartreuse. Spilled a little bit on my nice Samurai Tactical bag. We'll talk about that bag later. I get it. And it actually gets worse because I was doing this rigging thing that I wanted to try. Sean, have you ever seen where somebody will take like a chartreuse or a white Senko and just cut like maybe a quarter to a half inch of it? Tiny little like disc, and then they'll thread that on the back of a jig or a swim jig or a spinner bait, and then they'll put their trailer on top of that. And the idea is that it's changing up the color, and it's giving this super bright high vis color right up there in the center of the skirt. So it kind of gives this little element there. Well, freaking Brainiac right here is like, I don't have any chartreuse Senkos or anything like that. So you know what we're just going to do? We're going to take the tip of this bait and we're going to dip it in JJ's Magic. I love JJ's Magic. It's great. So I dip this sucker in there about, 2 or 3 segments of the Exopod, get a good soak on it, take it out, and I, seal the bottle back up. And then I realize, I'm like, you fat moron. Now I have to put this on the swim jig, but it's got a screw lock. So now I've got JJ's Magic all over my fingers as I try to screw lock this sucker on here. It clearly did what I was hoping it was going to do. It was finally getting bites. So that worked out really well. I hooked one that spit the hook when it jumped out of the water. Would have been the biggest fish of the day. That was so depressing. But one thing that was very cool was that I did mark the spot on my Angler app using my bullseye. And when I went back later, I deleted that waypoint as a catch, and I added an extra waypoint with a note just being like, big strike, fish spit the hooks, and this is what it was on with the conditions, so that this way I can take that info and go into my database and like break it all down. That's all probably going to happen this winter in phases. I'll take information from Angler and then import it there and get it all together. So... Cool. Yeah, I mean, it was very good. And then I had gone over to another big bunch of brush, a laydown with like all kinds of just brush piles kind of all around it. And there was just a school of tiny fish in there, and I caught a 13-inch largemouth there. And at this point I said, Paul, I'm dying, buddy. It's so hot. Your boy is dying. I finished my water. What do you say we go get breakfast? And I introduced Paul to Mrs. Mitchell's.
Yeah, all right.
I
How they
introduced
doing
Paul.
over there? I haven't been over there in a little while.
Mrs. Mitchell's was hopping, man. There was one table that needed to be cleaned, and we ultimately got that table. Like nice. It was jamming. They had meat lovers. Was it a meat lovers omelet special? And I had that. It was fantastic. I think Paul got. Did he do a hash omelet? Or did he do hash and eggs? I forget, but he was impressed. I'm like, hey, Holyoke does have some quality stuff, and Miss Mitchell's is first on that list.
Epitomizes it.
It really does. It really, really does. And Paul was impressed when I told him. I said, look, the nice thing is about Miss Mitchell's. You got to understand, Paul is he's a Polish immigrant. For our fans of Polish cuisine, you know what kishka is. It's a blood sausage. I love it. It's wonderful. But blood sausages are very common amongst everywhere. I love to order the Irish traditional fry up at Mrs. Mitchell's that comes with black and with white pudding, and it's fantastic. I said to Paul, I was like, if you're into it, I'm like, you can get a fry up and get it with blood sausage. He's like, no kidding, that's impressive. A little bit of a flavor difference between the traditional Polish kishka and blood sausage. I think there's like a little bit more like nutmegginess kind of going on with the kishka, but unbelievable.
I don't think I've ever had a kishka. I've had numerous different types of kielbasa, but never
a kishka. I love a good kishka. I love to take a kishka and just heat it up in the oven. And just eat it, like that, just slices, and it's fabulous. Or I'll cut it into discs, and then I'll pan fry them so they get a little bit crispy on either side. This is the way they do them, like at Mrs. Mitchell's. The other way I like to do is take the entire casing off and cook it like it's corned beef hash.
Ooh,
and then put a couple of eggs on it. It's awesome. But like when you tell people, you're like, oh yeah, it's like oats or rice or whatever the grain, I suppose the starch is that they're using in this, and you're like, oh, and it's a bunch of blood, and people are like, what? Oh my god, that's worse than liverwurst. Jesus.
Nothing's worse than liverwurst.
I don't know. After Swamp Rat did that on Bass and Brews, and then he did Sandwich Saturdays, I went out that next week. I had gone out and I found myself a good quality liverwurst sandwich. It was wonderful.
All right,
it's an acquired taste.
I'm gonna take your word for it on that. I'm good on that.
So let's see, where were we here? So let's jump into this next little thing, and I want to play a audio clip for you guys to kick this off. But before I get into that clip, I want to say I got a message from Roadkill Nick today, actually upon leaving Mrs. Mitchell's, and he was like, bro, first pike today. Sends me a picture, and it's a giant. It's a great pike. I don't know what the exact measurements are on there, but fantastic first pike, like beautiful. Nick, excellent job, man. Excellent job. So I asked him, I said, do you mind if I share this? And I say this to everybody who DMs fish pics or anything like that to me. I'm like, do you mind if I share this? Because the way I look at it, this is a platform. Jigs and Bigs is a platform, and it's about the fishing community. It's about getting to know different anglers, and I like to celebrate other people's wins with them. I think that's a really great thing, a thing that we can probably use a little bit more of in the world, honestly.
Fuck yeah.
I said to him, I was like, you mind if I share this? He's like, no, absolutely, go for it. And so I shared it, and just left some Father's Day wishes and stuff. And so congrats to him. But Roadkill Nick also delivered a little bit of gold. Last week, we had, if you folks remember, last week's episode, we had Kari Townsend on the show, a Minnesota native, a Minnesota artist who Sean went with the hard-nosed questions on for any Midwesterner. We got to learn about her relationship with Fleet Farm, and shockingly enough, based on her response, we got to learn a little bit about the fact that she doesn't dig on the cheese curds.
I'm still recoiling from that information.
Yeah. I mean, you remember back in October, we had that little therapy session when I was like, holy crap, I deleted Fish Donkey because I can't handle the monthly tournaments. Folks, it was maybe a click or two less than that. I mean, I was talking Sean off a cliff, like talking him down. He was like, I can't believe I got nothing to live for anymore.
The conversation went as follows. One Bobby Roast Beef said to Sean the fisherman, Sean, I'm sorry to inform you. There are people in the Midwest, the upper Midwest, that do not eat cheese curds. And me with my hands over my ears was just screaming, no.
This is not real life.
Went on for hours.
But Roadkill Nick jumped in and he shared a little bit of information about his opinion on cheese curds and where to get the best one. So with that said, here you go. Let's take it away, Nick.
Cheese curds are an amazing staple of the Midwest, and they are best found in Casey's. But even better than cheese curds, in my opinion, are those little deep fried corn nuggets. I could eat those all day.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Roadkill Nick also said that Casey's coffee is unfrickin' believable. If I'm not mistaken, I think he said that Casey's coffee was amazing. That's actually what that sound effect is coffee.
We're going to have to differentiate between
coffee and piss.
Pouring.
I'm making piss.
Making piss. I may have just lost a little bit of respect for Roadkill Nick, Midwestern or not. Am I going to have to start calling him Deep Fried Corn Nugget now? Roadkill Nick is gone.
Captain Corn Nugget?
Dude, cheese curds, man.
Well, so this is I'm assigning you some homework here, Sean.
Oh, go shoot!
Because of course we know that there will that you periodically spend some time in the Midwest, and you like to delve into the local cuisine and things like that. So on your journey, if you come across a Casey's, right, I need you to give this the level of attention that you gave to Bar Taco, as far as how can we make this work for us. Now I know that a coffee review is probably not going to happen because that will never make the trip back. Maybe talk to a clerk and see if you can get a bag of whatever it is that they brew, and all brew a pot, and we'll see how that turns out. But I am curious about these corn nuggets. I need you to grab some corn nuggets. Oh, wait, if they're deep fried, I don't know if they're going to last.
You remember I said that during our interview with Kari that there was an intersection of commerce that had, a Gander Camping, a Cub Food, a Target, a Walmart, a Fleet Farm, a Costco. I just looked at a map. There is also a Casey's there.
Oh, dude, it's amazing. It's perfect.
I will be there. I may bring a camera. I may tape something on my phone. Instagram Reels might get a little use. We'll find some way.
I mean, we got to know. I mean, here we are, a couple of New England boys. What do we know? Cumbies and Duncan? Come on. Hey, we can do better.
I do know. Remember, I've got probably at this point a little more than the big toe in the pool of the Midwest. Because I not only lived there for years, but married a girl from the Midwest, so I get to travel there quite a bit.
Yeah, it goes with the territory.
I'll check. I'm sure I've been in a Casey's. Now I'm going to go in there with a purpose,
with a mission.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Jesus, what the hell is that? Freaking.
That was. That was a deep fried corn nugget.
That's what it was. Goddamn corn nuggets.
God damn it.
No, good stuff.
I had an adventure yesterday, man.
You did? Hit me with some funny shit.
I sure did. Now. I had spoken, when did we start planning and plotting this? In like February? When did we start really talking with Chris Tabari? This winter? I don't even remember.
Really, we started talking with him and getting to know him when he won the giveaway. So yeah, it was about winter. I think it was like November, December when he won his that giveaway. Yeah,
so I had gotten in touch with Chris, and he had some questions about a couple of certain techniques. And I said, well, if we ever get a chance, we'll go out and I'll just show you.
Yeah. And
then it kind of, over the past month or so, there's been some extenuating things happening outside of the show. And I had a chat with a couple of the more experienced anglers. And notice I use the word experience, not better. I'm not getting into better or worse or anything. Just more experienced anglers.
Yeah.
In our, shall we say, extended family. And we're just kind of informally really make an effort when we see some of our extended family, Hookset Hoodlums, Stretching Lines, Three Bells, anybody who may be struggling with a technique or something, to try and get out and show them and say, hey, look, this is how I do it.
Yep.
There may be other ways to do it, but this is how I approach it, and this is why. And that was something I really went at with Chris and said, we're going to get out. We're going to, number one, we're going to see, how you are and what you do. And then we're going to kind of go after a technique based on what the fish tell us. And I kind of had an inkling going in what was going to happen, because over the past couple of years, the beautiful body of water up the shears that we went to has been relatively consistent on the kind of baits that the fish like to go after.
Mm-hmm.
So we got up there, and now this is fucked up. Now I am when it's fishing day, I actually get excited and have problems sleeping.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck happened, man. My alarm didn't go off, and I was woken up by Chris in my driveway calling me. Which is highly unusual. And I didn't have any Grampy sleep medicine that night. So I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I go running out in a pair of shorts. So Chris and I got to know each other really well, really quickly. And I said, dude, give me 5 minutes. Come in the house, sit down. I got to jump in the shower. I stink like a fucking wildebeest. It's time to, we'll get going. So to make up for that, I cooked him an egg sandwich, and we hit the road.
We spoke.
Yeah,
during that time.
We hit the road, and we got to the lake an hour late, which sucks. It's on me. I know. I apologize profusely to Chris because, again, that doesn't normally happen to me, especially when fishing is involved.
Oh, yeah.
I was all fucked up. I don't know why. But we got up there. The launch is a little sketchy. I'm not going to get into the pond we were at, but there's some nuances with the launch. We got our boats in. Problem number one, blowing straight into the launch was a 10 to 15 mile an hour wind. Now, I have the pedal drive. Chris had my my latest Native Ultimate with the fish finder in it and all the bells and whistles, but it's not a pedal.
Yeah.
And Chris doesn't have a shit ton of experience with
in a
kayaking, especially in the wind. And you know how that can be. So
it can be so frustrating.
Yeah, he had some problems, and unfortunately, it was just the day. And I just tried to be positive about it. I'm like, look, dude, it's going to suck. You're going to have to paddle through it. And then I figured out the pattern, let him know what was going on, and said, let's work this. And we ended up, because of the wind, he just got frustrated, I think, and went to another point and said, dude, I got to get out of the wind, and went to a back cove that had no wind. He was hanging out there. But what I always try to tell people, too, is you see people, whether it's big boats, kayaks, even some shore fishermen, man, they will get out of the wind as their priority, not try to work with it to catch fish. I use the wind as a guide, like straight up. The first thing, like you've seen me map out lakes, the first thing I do is show where the wind is supposed to be coming from. And I use that as a guide. And it was just very unfortunate. Chris had to battle the wind, learn a kayak. So what I did was we went to another part of the lake where there was a big, deep submerged weed bed. Unfortunately, the weeds were not at a level that I felt was conductive for fish biting. And it proved that because I ran a number of lures over and got nothing except one mini nibbler. It was awful. The smallest fish of the day. It was like a 7.5-inch bass, and he hit it right as the lure hit the water. So it wasn't the lure's action. It was the fact that
right place, right time.
I dropped it. I dropped it on his head. And I told Chris, I said, look, dude, it's going to be a little easier. It's actually going to be more difficult with me with the pedal drive, because the pedal drives do much, much better, I feel, going into the wind, because the back ends are heavier, and the back end tends to, your kayak tends to point into the wind because the back end gets swung back.
Kind of swing, yeah.
And I said, oh, look, I'm going to go with the wind. I'm going to have more problems than you are. And he was fine. He just drifted. He just kind of straightened his boat out every now and again, just back or forth. He just drifted with the wind, because with the sit on top, the side of the boat catches the wind like a sail. And he was fine. He was facing the shore, but hitting the depth where I was catching all these different size fish. And on the initial way up, when he was having problems, I mean, he hit a rock bass. I hit one largemouth that was somewhere between 17 and 19 inches by my calibrated eye, and threw the hook. And Chris got to see some of the, the words that I know, because they were hung on the air loudly. Yep. And when we got all the way up, I think I hooked, let me think about this. No, it was on the way back. I hooked a bunch of fish. They were smaller, 14s, 13s, nothing big. And then when we started drifting back together, I hit an 18, which was great because, little tangent here, Saturday and Sunday was a 2-day tournament being held by MAK. Yeah, being held by MAKB. It was a benefit for one of our members who had a little bit of an accident. He is all right, but his boat and equipment are not his boat and equipment anymore, because some things went to Davy Jones' locker, and those things were pretty expensive, including a couple of batteries and a trolling motor. So we did a really nice benefit for him. 2-day tournament, pick one of the 2 days to fish, go out and best 5 fish and lunker. It's first place and lunker were the only 2 prizes. So I was out there fishing a tournament while teaching Chris like what I'm, evaluating an environment and really finding a bite and staying on it. But the first thing we did when we got out there on that first trip up, I noticed something in his, I'm not going to get into it, but I noticed something in his casting mechanics. And I stopped him. I said, do you see what you're doing? And he said, no. And I said, look, I never asked, do you know if Chris has any experience in sports, growing up, did he ever mention that to you? Because I didn't ask, and I don't know if he does. He might have.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So I basically what I try to do is when I'm with somebody for the first time, It's just me, and I'm not doing it like to be condescending or an asshole.
Sure.
I'm taking a peek at them just to evaluate like what they're doing. I know you and I did it. Remember the first couple times you fished with me, I was like, hey, just so you know, this is what I see. This is how you can improve it.
Yep.
And it's general casting ergonomics. And there's a couple things that always jump out to me with people when they cast. And one of them jumped out with Chris. And I said, hey, look what you're doing. And I said, watch, cast again. And he did it again. He goes, I don't know what you're talking about. And then I showed him, I said, this is how you're doing it. I said, basically it was the equivalent of any stick sport, hockey, baseball, tennis, golf.
Yep.
What he was doing was he was letting go of his rod with one hand on his follow through. And I said, that's the equivalent of if you've got a hockey stick, only hitting with one hand. Now baseball is different because you let go on your follow through.
Yep.
But golf, you don't. You hold
it all the way through.
You keep your hands straight through. So I was like, yeah, you're letting go. Your accuracy is going to improve if you hold on, and your distance. Man, he straightened out in like 5 casts. So right off the bat, just by watching him for 3 casts, I said, I can improve this. I can help you get somewhere. And that was the whole point. Is he wants to become a better fisherman. I said,
this is a way to do it.
Yeah. And he was like, dude, I'm open ears. Okay, show me out. Well, okay, he got it. Boom. He was right. We're right on to the next thing. Right. So on the way back through, I got that 18. I think I got another 17. And I said, we're sticking on. I said, this is brutal because we're in the wind and it sucks for you, but we have to, we found fish. We cannot leave them.
Yeah. And
our plan was to fish till, I don't know, 11, I think. And then we were going to grab lunch at my house, providing we caught a couple of fish at this place. This place has some pretty good water. I've eaten the fish out of there before. So I did what normally is a jinx for me. I brought coolers with ice. Usually the jinx is if I bring coolers with ice,
you're not catching anything that's a keeper.
Oh, I'm catching 2 things, dick and shit.
Yeah.
And luckily, again, I think you guys, everybody on the show has heard me say it before. I do keep fish. I keep bass. I don't keep bass over 15 inches.
Yeah.
I don't do it. So a trophy bass, I'm not taking. I'm taking the ones that are legal. So over 12 and to 15. That's my slot because I don't want to eat. I think over 15, they start getting, you can tell they're older fish.
Yep.
I don't want to go risking. I don't know how much mercury's in them. We're in the East. We get all the fucking good heavy metals from the sky, from the Midwest. And I don't know what those are going to do to me. So
yeah,
I stick with the smaller ones. Yeah, exactly. And we ended up leaving that lake by the end of the day or by the end of the morning with, the hell did I get? I think Chris caught a 14-inch smallmouth and I caught a 15. 2 bass. Our limit's 10. We kept 2 because that's all we needed. We got home and Chris is like, Gandalf, show me the magic. And I made 3 fantastic largemouth bass, sauceless, extra garlic pizzas. One of them extra crispy by request. I'll get into that in a minute.
Okay.
Chris is like, this is where it's at. And I did take a couple shortcuts. I didn't cut up fucking red onion. I bought some diced red onion, sue me. And
sue me.
Yeah. And I got and here's the real sin. The McCormick mixed Italian spice. Usually I use basil, preferably fresh, preferably leaves chopped up from the garden, but the basil's not growing up yet. So
you do what you got to do.
I had to do what I had to do.
You slummed it. It's okay.
I did. Chris was blown away. But again, the star of this movie was the bass that was so fresh. You know what I mean? It was awesome. The third pizza, I made 2. Me, Chris, and my wife partook. We knocked the 2 pizzas out of there. But getting on a part 2 of the day, Nelson had fished his knockout round in the morning. Unfortunately, man, there was one fish he could not call out, and he ended up losing by like an inch and a half. It was like heartbreaking because I don't think his opponent
close like that.
Yeah, I don't think his opponent uploaded until late because I was looking at his thing and I'm like, Nelson's got 3. He's doing well. He upgraded 1 here. He's doing great. And then an hour left in that contest because that's a nice thing about Fishing Chaos. You can watch everybody else's knockouts if you're in the tournament. It really is
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And because I've sent you the link. I've posted it on the we've mentioned the Hook Set Hoodlums Pro Staff thread. Usually one of us, whether it's me or Nelson or Nate Shagnon, because we're always fishing different tournaments. If somebody's out fishing and they want to see, keep tabs, like, honestly, it's like watching the score of a baseball game.
Exactly.
We throw everybody the link and say, hey, you can follow along at this location. You don't have to be in the tournament to watch it. and people can watch. It's a pretty cool feature.
I think that is one of the coolest features right there. And actually, we should let listeners know. Download the Fishing Chaos app and check this stuff out. If you know somebody who's in these tournaments and you've kind of wanted to have that information of like ongoing progress of what's going on, if that sounds interesting to you, download it, create a profile. Even if you're not tournament fishing on your own necessarily just yet, or if this is one of those things where you're like, I'm not really into it, maybe you do the Jigs and Bigs or the Chronic Trips tournaments or something like that periodically for fun. Like this is a good reason to go ahead and just download that sucker now.
Yeah, and it was amazing when Nate went on that run at Pickwick, because everybody on the thread that we were talking with, we were fucking going nuts. It was great. And you know, like I said, that community's there, and it was pretty fucking awesome.
It was, I mean, and Nate, like, I'm only saying this because it's Nate and it was a Massachusetts thing, but it felt like the 04 World Series.
That was good. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just kind of felt like that jovial, you know, it was amazing.
Yeah, we were psyched and everybody was watching that. But I was watching Nelson, and unfortunately, like I said, he just...
Dude.
Shit happened. Thank you, Nate. It's just... it just didn't happen for him, which sucks. And I've been in that position before, and it hurts. That knockout, she's a harsh mistress.
She is. She is.
She'll get you. But Nelson and I had plans for after his knockout, because he got the green light to fish all day Saturday.
He got a hall pass too?
Huh? Oh, he did.
Good for him. Good for him.
Yeah. And we ended up sharing a very romantic sunset.
Oh, I'm sure you did. Two kayaks, silhouette.
Yeah. I've got plenty of pictures.
That's going to be a shirt.
Oh, yeah. It'll be great.
Kari will be calling you to help with the artwork because I don't have the skills to make that happen. But
X will be great.
Collab will be awesome.
Phenomenal. So we, Nelson had said, you know, I was up in the Berkshires out in the western part of the state. I came back down into the valley for lunch with Chris. Chris took off. He unfortunately did not get more than a half-day hall pass, and I regrettably informed the audience that Chris did, in fact, power wash his house Saturday afternoon on Father's Day weekend. My condolences. Saturday afternoon, I then packed my shit back up, recharged my batteries, and went to where Nelson was at in Central Mass. He had been given a tip on a small pond. Said there were monsters in there. I said, all right, we'll give it a whack. I had in my cooler, Nelson likes his pizza, not only extra garlic, which kills me, because whenever we go camping, like him and a couple of my buddies are like, you putting garlic on that pizza? I'm like, fuck yeah, double it up. Nelson's like, triple it up and burn the fuck out of the bottom of the pizza. He likes that shit black. He
likes it crispy. Yeah, he likes a good little char on it. I can respect that. Fuck
yeah. So I get out on this pond, and I've got the cooler in the back, and I call him up because there's a couple kayaks out there. I couldn't see who was what. It was a little bit far, a little too far for me.
Yep.
And he answers the phone, and I said, hey, is that you? He goes, yeah, I'm coming towards you right now, and I see a boat. And he's still talking, and I hang up, and I scream as loud as I can, pizza delivery for DaCosta! Just across the lake. The other two kayaks are looking at me like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? So Nelson got a pizza delivered, a homemade pizza delivered to him on the lake. He ate his pizza. I talked to him later on in the day, or later on in the evening. He's like, dude, that pizza was so good. I said, yeah. He goes, I was burping up garlic for an hour.
That's the greatest.
Gross. Well, I don't mind a little bit, but like, you got to understand, like Nelson and my few high school buddies that like this shit, when I cook the pizzas that way, vampires die in Transylvania from them breathing in America. That's how much garlic I put in those fucking pizzas for them. And I'm like, you guys are out of control. You guys got a problem. But it works. So Nelson had his pizza. We went around the lake, and again, it was just fucking, for me, it was Nibblerville. Mm-hmm. Nibbler, 11 and 12 inches, just constant. And I met back up with Nelson right as the sun was starting to go down. And he said, I got a 19, and the rest are all nibblers. I said, okay, well, let's stick it out through dusk and see what happens. Wasn't 5 minutes later, I hear, got a good one. And then I hear the thing jump and hit the water, and that I turned my head. Nelson got a 21.
Nice.
Nice big pinfish.
Excellent, man.
Beautiful, beautiful largemouth bass that had a stomach so distended it looked like it swallowed a fucking shoe. I was blown away. I said, dude, let's get some pictures. I said, get that on the board, get the pictures right. I will come around and take pictures of you holding it. We got a nice little beautiful romantic photo shoot in the fading light. Nelson got his pictures. We went our ways, and he's psyched, and I sent him all the pictures this morning. So yeah, so what he did with that fish All right. This is where tournament angling is fun.
Yep.
When something like this happens, 21-inch fish just took leading first place for the Chronic Trips tournament for this month by like a full inch. I mean, that's a big fucking fish.
Yeah.
Number 2, that fish in the 19 put him into second place for that tournament yesterday. While that's not a big deal and it's a benefit tournament, and honestly, I think whoever wins it is probably going to donate the whole amount to the angler. It feels so good when you're in a tournament, no matter what the prize.
Oh,
you can hang with some guns. You know what I mean? Like, I finished 7th, but again, I fished 2 completely different bodies of water, and it happens. Nelson got a better read on the place than I did. It's all good. He kicked ass. And when he told me what he caught it on, I was laughing. I'm like, son of a bitch, I was thinking about that about an hour ago, and I just decided to press on with what I was doing because I was getting hits. Again, one of those little, I'm getting fish, I'm not getting the big ones.
Yep.
I didn't know the place. I'm like, I'll just keep running. I made yesterday evening into a numbers day, and then Nelson said, I'm going to make it a numbers day and catch 2 monsters.
Yep.
And what else? Oh, he was able to put, I think, one, if not both of those fish into Jason Gardner's Maniac Anglers Big 5, which...
Oh, dude, okay. That's awesome.
And you know who he bumped out of 7th place?
You.
Me, fucker. So as we're leaving, he's putting his boat away and I'm pulling out of the truck. I said, hey, man, I leaned out, gave him a fist bump. I said, nice job today, man. That was awesome. I said, great job in the fucking Big 5 and all that. And as I'm pulling away, he's laughing. I go, you piece of shit. And I drove away. So, yeah, that was a great day. I got no complaints. I ate some fucking great pizza, caught a couple good fish, got out with Dabari, got out with Nelson. Dabari is without a doubt, he was thankful for it. He's casting better right off the bat. He knows the mechanics there, and boom, he's golden. So that was my day yesterday, man. I had a blast.
That's awesome, dude. That is huge. You mentioned something about Old Glory, and I want to kind of play off of that for a quick second here. You mentioned how you got that multi-tool that who is it that puts those out? Is it
the brand is Sarge?
Sarge, that's what it is. A Sarge multi-tool. I just saw that display. I think it was Thursday. I just saw that display. It might have been Thursday, maybe Friday. But I had just seen that display because I was at Old Glory earlier this week picking up a Father's Day gift for my dad. My dad would never splurge on really great fishing gear. You know what I mean? He would, get by with, whatever it is that he's got and make it all work. And I bought him a new spinning combo, 7-foot medium. It's a Cashion CRT rod. Very, very, very nice rod.
Who's fucking bougie now?
Yeah, I know, right? And then I got him a reel for it. I got him a 13 Fishing Creed reel. And this combo together is freaking absolutely beautiful. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous combo. He is delighted. I gave him this. Oh, and I also picked up some finesse TRDs, and I gave him some weedless Ned heads as well, some EWG heads to kind of get him started because we're planning on being in at Champlain in September. And he is so excited. We were talking about, he's like, well, we got to figure out, where the tournament is. He's like, I know there's a place where we can rent cabins that are a great deal because it'll be off season and it'll be all, what. He's like, we just got to figure all this stuff out. I'm like, all right, cool, let's do it. So we have to do some logistics, like figuring out like what we're going to do for kayaks and things like that. Obviously, I'm gonna be have the Titan with me in tow. I don't know if it's a good idea if we utilize the my Ascend at all. I think it's just gonna be way too difficult. So,
dude, if he's gonna be, with us,
I'm thinking I'm gonna let him take the Titan. And
I would say we've got the 2 native ultimates. He's welcome to use one of those.
Oh,
those are light too. He'll be able to zip around for the most part. I mean, as much as you can. It's not like he's going to be bringing a quarter of the tackle.
No, not at all. But we'll figure it out. We'll see how it goes. I don't think he's ever even been in a sit-on top kayak ever. And he did have an arm injury a little while ago, so I don't. We'll see where he's at in September as far as paddling. I may be paddling. That's what I'm.
Wait
thinking.
a minute, dude. We're both overthinking this.
Yeah, we totally are.
Why are we not either doing a rental from Three Bells?
That's where my head was at.
I see. I already forgot. Like, I know everybody's schedules are all over the place. Are they going to be at that event?
I think
I
so.
can't remember.
I think so. It might work out even better, but if not, it might be worth looking into doing some kind of a rental.
Yeah, we could talk to them and kind of say, hey, you guys have one rental set for the weekend because we need a pedal because your dad's got.
Oh yeah, it would definitely. I just think that that's too large of a body of water to be able to put a real dent in. I do know a guide that's up in that area that I may hit up, and see if we can do something like that. We'll figure that out. We're getting some messages here. Berkshire Brett's wishing us a happy Father's Day. He's out slaying some pike right now. Good for you, Berkshire Brett. Good for you. We got our own loaded potato. Same thing. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to you.
Message
Happy
back
Father's
to Berkshire
Day.
Brett. I'm hoping this is a good time. Message back, Brett. We're waiting on a recording from you. Please, as soon as possible. Like
Done
tonight.
Let's get to it. All right. So there was that. So I got my dad an amazing Father's Day gift. He's so excited, and in fact, we're over at my sister's place, and he took a couple of casts off the back deck. He's like, I have never used a reel that is so smooth. I'm used to, and I had considered the idea of getting him a bait caster because he and I had talked about bait casters before. He's like, yeah, I don't really care for them. It's just not my thing. So I was like, I'm going to get him a really good spinning combo. And then I have enough gear. I'm going to get him on a bait caster when we're in Champlain, if not beforehand, because next week we're going to try to get together and fish. And I want to get him on, and if that's the case, well, hey, then I can get him his birthday gift or Christmas gift or whatever it might be, based on that. But this way he can use one of my left-hand retrieve reels. I have a feeling he's going to like that, and that gives me a whole lot more to go from. If he's into it, awesome.
Nice.
It'll be fun. Yeah.
Playing it. So real quick to wrap up the rest of my week.
Yes.
I do want to mention this. There's a pond that I've mentioned on the show that I'm not going to give the name of, but a buddy of mine from high school, his family has a house up there, and he tends to fish up there a lot. He likes that one place. He's not going out of, he's actually more of a golfer than a fisherman. And when he fishes, he just likes to stick in that pond, and it's his familiar, it's his happy place, right?
Yep.
So he was asking, hey, what are you doing? I don't know what the hell day it was, Thursday or some shit, Wednesday, I forget. What are you doing this night? I said, I'll meet you out there. I usually don't like fishing that place anymore because it's gotten a little bit overrun over the past 10 years. There's been some renovations to the ramp, and
with that comes a lot more boat traffic. Yeah. No.
Yeah. And it's really gotten a little hammered. And we went there and actually caught quite a few fish, even small ones, but that was a good sign. It's a better sign than I've had in the past couple years there. So we had a good night. It was fun. So just a little shout out to my buddy, Matt. He was asking a lot of questions about the podcast and this and that. And he's also asking a lot of questions about, he's moving away finally from more expensive stick worms to exploring different brands and seeing what they have to offer because, some of the stick worms out there, they're really expensive and they fucking work, but they may not be as durable as some other kinds. So what I did was I sidled on up to him. I pulled up and I said, try some of these. And I gave him a handful of stretching lines, thick sticks that I had on me. So I think he put an order in with them. He was asking about some questions about them. So made sure of that. And you know what I forgot to mention? This is a little bit of a recap. I'm going to hit you a couple things here. It's
okay.
Right. It's just little cleanup things. That Chicopee River tournament for MAKB that we talked about last week. I did not mention that the lunker and biggest fish that put me over the top and kept me there. I've been working all year with stretching lines plastics with Damien in Connecticut. And one of the things that attracted me to really contact him and say, what are you doing with this one particular mold was the dangler mold. I'm a big fan of flapping baits. Yeah. Flapping craws, whatever you want to call them, like creature craws, I don't know, flappers. And that particular lure I want to talk about a little bit because I've caught now it helped me win at Quabog and it helped me win the Chicopee River. I want to say the Quabog tournament in April, it caught the second and third biggest fish that were in my bag. And this one, it caught the biggest. So there's something to be said about that compared to other similar flapping baits. A lot of these other flapping baits, they're really high energy, high action. Yeah. Which right off the bat, anyone would think, well, that's a positive. In a lot of cases, it is.
In some cases, it's not.
Yeah, exactly. What I've noticed is when there's like a bite that's not over the top big, it's kind of a middle of the road bite, right? Like you don't have to throw on a Ned rig, but you also don't want a gigantic trailer on a fucking half-ounce jig. You know what I mean? You want something in between.
Yep.
What this dangler I've been noticing, and I actually, if Damien's listening to this, he's going to be very happy and find out, my evaluation is here, that it still flutters, but it doesn't like go crazy. I know nobody's watching. Look at my arms, Bobby. Look at me. This is a lot of the baits out there.
Yep.
And this one, you've seen it. It's like this.
It's tight.
But it almost
it's
shimmers.
like a tight kick. Yeah.
Yeah, it moves, but it's just so subtle. So I'm finding major success using these things as jig trailers. And I know Damien's like I said, he's been waiting a long time to hear something back from me on this, because I asked him for specific colors. He fired them my way. And honestly, since April, I really haven't said anything. They've won me 2 tournaments.
Yeah.
Flat straight out of 4 tournaments I've been in, they won me 2 of them. So
that's awesome. Yeah, they're killer baits, man. I'm a big fan of the stretching line stuff. I love the dangler is unbelievable. I'm a big fan of the nub. Huge fan of the nub. The beefcake I like for a bunch of different reasons. It's good.
I'm a child. I'm sorry.
So I'm a big nub guy, you might say.
Big nub guy.
Big
I
nub
love my
guy.
nub.
Big fan of the nub. Hey, weird thing that happened over the weekend as well. That was, kind of show related, but very adjacent. I was at my kid's dance recital this past weekend, and I'm watching the show, and I was there with my mom. 2 things. First off, my mom says, so the podcast is pretty good. It's you guys are really doing pretty well with that. I did not know that my mom listens to the podcast.
That's scary.
The other thing she says, she's like, that guy that you do the podcast with, is that Sean? And I was like, yeah. She's like, he swears a lot. And I'm like, wait, Ma, it's not like I, have a squeaky clean mouth or anything. She's like, no, but he swears a lot. I'm like, good. That's what we want. We like that, And she's just like, it was just an observation. But another bizarro sort of meeting. There was a young woman who comes up to me and says, excuse me, is your name Bobby? And I said, yeah. She goes, I'm Sean the Fisherman's sister. And I was like, yeah. Oh, really? And she goes, yeah. She's like, we're sitting right over there, and I heard you talking. And she's like, I know that voice. And I'm just like, holy shit, really? Thanks. That's amazing. So, And
I saw her today. We talked about that.
Nice.
And I asked, I said, well, I think you've met Bobby before, because one of her best friends was a manager for years at one of the local bar and grills. And we could talk about that later.
Yeah.
But you did.
I did trivia there.
I think it might have been DJing. This was a long time ago. We're talking 10 years ago. So I don't know what you were.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think you were doing something there. And again, we'll talk about it off air. But she said, well, he probably wouldn't remember me, but you're when I mentioned who the manager was, you're definitely going to remember it, because people don't forget the manager. So
I'm just going to throw a name out there. Was it Carrie?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. No, exactly. Yeah, and it was trivia. Yeah. In fact, you know what? I think I may remember that in that specific instance. Yeah. Holy crap! It's a small freaking world.
Yeah.
But holy shit! And my mom sitting there and being like, "Holy shit! Somebody recognized you from your voice! Holy crap!" Because I'm like the black sheep in my family. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like my sister's super successful and everything, and here I am, I'm in my basement swearing into a microphone about fishing. For Christ's sakes,
But look at the bright side. You're not swearing as much as I am.
That's true.
The funny thing was, when I had gotten off the phone with you or whatever, you're like, hey, you sent me a text saying, I just met your sister. And I knew you were at the recital. And I'm thinking,
what the hell is she doing?
Bobby didn't mean to send this to me. And I go, my sister? And you said, yes, your sister. And then you sent the picture of her shoulder. I'm like, oh, there she is. Because you were sitting directly row behind them.
Yeah, exactly.
Her and her husband. And I'm like, well, what the hell is my sister doing that? I'm thinking. And I called my mom and I said, just to verify this, does her husband's niece go to dance? My mom says, yes, they're at the recital. And I said, and then I told her the story. And my mom starts laughing.
That's so freaking funny.
My mom did also not say you swear too much, but I've heard her say it in the past, so it's all right.
There you go. Perfect.
I mean, what I tell everybody, whether it's people who listen to the show or people I meet in the street, or I mean, even a couple times, prospective collaborations / advertisers, I just say straight out, number one, we're a podcast. The FCC doesn't really care.
Nope.
Yeah, doesn't apply, doesn't care. Number two, I served my country for 20 years. I swore before I served my country. During that service, I swore more. And while I retired, swearing did not.
No.
And I'm never going to apologize for it.
That's you shouldn't.
But swearing on the podcast is different. It's not like I'm at the gas station going, "Hey, good morning, fuck face," you know, to whoever walks by, nice fucking coffee. I say it on the podcast.
You got no fucking ice? I got to drink this coffee hot?
Beautiful fucking morning we're having, huh? Although I probably should start doing that.
Who's the fucking piss cup to put gum in the locks?
I know. Now I'm starting to evaluate this. I'm not getting a complex. I'm going to continue swearing in my normal business, but I did come up with a segment called "Fuck This Guy." I don't really.
That's what I said to my mother. And I'm like, it's blowing up. People love this segment. It's ridiculous. I'm like, and it makes we get so much joy out of it, and we give so much joy.
We do. So you mentioned the Sarge knife, the Sarge multi-tool rack at Old Glory. That same multi-tool. The reason I wanted that was that was one of the top 3 prizes that we awarded for the Chronic Trips tournament in April.
Yeah.
And I saw that. And with my mind on prizes now, I just wanted to throw out there that for the Jigs and Bigs tournament from last month, you and I got together. We got everything packed up. I have reached out to the winners. All the winners have been contacted except for one, which I'm contacting tomorrow. And that's going to be quick because it's a drop-off more than likely. They're in my vicinity.
Oh, that's perfect.
The long distance packages were mailed out last week by myself.
Yep.
I haven't heard anything back, so I guess I'll reach out and make sure everything got there. And then the local folks, I know one of them frequents Old Glory, so they're getting a drop off this week.
Yep.
And I'll be leaving it there. They can pick it up at Old Glory. The other person is on the other side of us, on the western side. So I'll be working with them. They just haven't gotten back to me. They said at some point, but that's that. So the prizes should be all distributed by the end of the week, unless there's any sort of shit
snafu
outside my
or
control.
anything. But yeah, that's the whole thing. It's like they've been shipped, folks. If they're, if it fits, it ships. It's on its way.
Yep.
That's the beauty of it. One thing I do want to mention before we wrap up and we go to our first break is this. Next week's show is we're recording it very, very early, and it's a special. Here's why. Because I'm actually going to be working in Las Vegas for that week. I'm going to be working at an expo out there for well, I'm going to be working for the trivia company that I work with. And basically, I will be unavailable to record a show for the week. But because we sort of pride ourselves on consistency and giving you guys a great product, we're recording a segment this week that's going to run on the 29th. And this is the discussion where we get into advantages. Advantages in this conversation came up with kayak fishing specifically regarding pedal versus paddle and the various stripes between. We have a conversation with myself, with Sean. We have Derek from Three Bells that's joining us, which is great because specifically regarding this, like he actually is in the industry where he sees these products and he knows the technical specifications as well as maybe some of the drive of why people are drawn to make a decision one way or the other. So his information will be good. Who else do we have on that show with us? We've got
Joe from Old Glory.
Joe from Old Glory is with us.
And the man who sparked the fire.
That's right. Billy
Wild
Joel.
Bill. Yep.
Oh, Wild Bill. Wild Bill. Speaking of Father's Day, Wild Bill.
Wild Billy Joel, your son.
That's what I was going to say,
Oh, I'm sorry. I stole your thunder.
No. It's great. It's great. I'm just saying. Not even a
So
card.
I'm looking very forward to this conversation. We are going to plumb the depths.
It's going to be a good one.
What is an advantage? Can one gain an advantage? Are they out there? Are they not out there?
What does that actually mean? What even is an advantage, and what does it mean to the totality of everything? You know, we're gonna talk about all this stuff, and it's a conversation. And actually, I want to throw a little shout out to Alex Swamp Rat Fishing on his newest episode of Bass and Brews. He had Paul Roberts. You guys might know Paul because Paul recorded the "fuck this guy" intro. He's the guy that goes, "fuck this guy." That's Paul. They got into a conversation a little bit about this, and they which was kind of nice because they started the coals. You know what I'm saying? They really, so we can kind of rev up on a lot of this stuff. They had some good insight, interesting points of view. We're going to go back and forth, and big shout out and thank you to Alex, because he's very complimentary about our show all the time, and he was mentioning that this is a special that's coming, so it's going to drop on the 29th for you guys, that Tuesday. That's what that episode is going to cover from beginning to end, and trust me, I think you're going to love it. We may have an interview in there. I've got a bunch of recording happening this week. We'll sort of see how it goes, but that is primarily the focus right there, is advantages. So I think that about does it for this first segment right here. Guys, we're going to go ahead and take a short break right now. We'll be back with more. We're going to talk about, I have in our Just the Tip segment, I have a tip for bank anglers, but this regards versatility, and it can be applied to almost any fisherman that's out there. Whatever your preferred method is, this will kind of fit the bill for everybody. So we'll be back right after this short message from Old Glory Outdoors. We'll see you guys in just a bit. Jigs and Bigs is proud to announce we're being supported by Old Glory Outdoors. They're a veteran-owned company that carries fishing and hunting gear. Plus, they're highly active in supporting veteran organizations and charities. Old Glory is an authorized dealer of favorite rods, FX rods, Guggen baits, X-Zone lures, Sixth Sense, and many more. There's a brick-and-mortar store located in East Brookfield, Massachusetts, but you can also order online at oldgloryoutdoors.com. They ship anywhere in the lower 48 states, or order online and pick up at the store. When you order, use the promo code Jigs and Bigs, and you'll save 10% off your complete order. Plus, you'll help support the show. Make sure to check out the apparel line called OGO Gear while you're there. Old Glory Outdoors believes in the slogan, "Start 'em young," to keep kids away from screens and enjoying nature. They've got a full array of live bait too. Check out oldgloryoutdoors.com and use the promo code Jigs and Bigs. Save some money and gear up now.
Bobby and Sean now have a special presentation for us all. They'd like to give everyone just the tip.
Yeah, just the tip. Just the tip. That's what this is all about. And you guys get a tip, something hopefully that you can use to help kind of enrich your fishing experience. I love how that we play that super perverse, very tongue-in-cheek intro right there, super cheeky, and then I try to play it off like this is a legitimate, yeah, we're going to better your fishing situation.
And every time I have to mute myself, and I come out of it laughing because I'm 12 years old and it is not getting old. It's just not. I'm going to listen to this for years and just laugh.
I love it. But no, this tip is it's just. I've been a staunch advocate of what I'm about to say for about 3 years now. So here's the thing. I do a lot of bank fishing. I really enjoy bank fishing, actually. I love the idea of packing up light and then going out with as minimal gear as possible. I don't ever like to go with just a single rod. Taking 2 to 3 isn't going to break anything. Like it works. So but I think that the cardinal rule for the bank fisherman is sort of to pack light, because you got to be able to go around and get from spot to spot to spot. Sometimes your access is going to be really limited, and you might have to just walk for a mile or two, or change locations. You could be putting on some steps through the day, and one of the things that I have done, and I've looked into this as far as like organizing tackle. I've looked at what some of the people have said regarding like what's the best decision for a bag and things like that. And a lot of people say like, oh well, walking with if you're going to carry a bunch of tackle, like a backpack is great for you. Yes, it is. If you're carrying too much tackle, a backpack is what you want. But if you're carrying a small amount of tackle, I am a very huge advocate of using a sling style bag. And here's why. You can take this bag, and while it's on you, you can spin it around to your front side and then open up generally a lot of these pockets. And that's really sort of the feature that you're looking for. I recommend to a lot of folks, if you're going to look into a sling bag, get something that you can try on, or if you're going to order online, make sure that you're able to return it if it doesn't necessarily jive for you. So I'm going to walk you through the bag that I'm using right now. The bag that I use is a sling pack from Samurai Tactical. Samurai Tactical is an amazing company. They sell their fishing bags exclusively through Dick's Sporting Goods, but these bags are fantastic. So when I wanted to check one out, I had seen a bunch of, content on Instagram and on YouTube through some of their channels before. And I found this one bag, and what I immediately did was I walked over to the display and I grabbed a 3700 box because I wanted to put a 37 in this bag. Ultimately, what I carry in this bag is a 3700 box that I call a day box. This covers pretty much whatever baits I feel like I will be throwing. So yeah, it does kind of mean that you have to stock this with a little bit more consideration. So I spend a lot of time with looking at types of baits for versatility. I look at conditions. I try to play off of any experience that I've had or info that I may get from others who can tip me off to this works, here. So you have to pre-program this box a little bit, but the advantage that it gives you is that you're incredibly mobile. The other thing I carry in this bag is I like a bait binder, but it has a large pocket where if you just wanted to take your individual bags of soft plastics, you could just fill this sucker. There's a few items that I always have on this bag, and those are like a scale. I've always got a scale in there, because you never know when you're going to catch a PB, and want to do a replica. You got to get those numbers. I always carry, even if I don't have my catch board on me, I always have a measuring tape. And I'm talking about like a Taylor style measuring tape so that you can take the measurements that way. It's just a good practice to have. I've always got a set of pliers on there that I keep accessible. And I always keep, what's odd is my braid shears and my line clippers. I don't keep those on the bag. I actually wear those around a lanyard regularly, because if I do have to take the bag off or anything like that, or it force a habit. I like having them right there around my neck, easy to grab. So anyway, the main focus with this is versatility. That's why a sling bag allows you to do so much. And I'll give you an example. I had recently done some trout fishing at a local river, a very popular area where I am. And unfortunately, my trip got cut unbelievably short. And it got cut short because of a thunderstorm that had kind of like snuck right into the area, and it got very treacherous to fish. So my plan was to go and catch some trout and fill the freezer a little bit, maybe get ready for a good Friday night fish fry at the roast beef household. And what I had done was I took I had taken my 3700 box out, because I keep a very small trout box, and I was able to keep that trout box where I put my bait binder, and I took my soft plastics out because everything that I need is in this little trout box right here. So what I was doing was throwing around a small jerk bait. It was great. Was getting some action. That's not the point here. The point is the main pocket of the bag where I keep that 3700 size box. What I had done was I had taken an insulated bag from a grocery store, and I had fitted it in that pocket. And then I had put a ice pack in there. We get Imperfect Foods deliveries, Butcher Box, things like this, and they're always sending ice packets. So we have these to spare. And I went down into the deep freezer, grabbed one of those, threw that in the box, and then on top of that, I put a Ziploc 1 gallon freezer bag. And the idea, after I tightened up the strap, was that this bag would stay dry. It didn't go past my waist at all, so as long as I didn't go any deeper than that, the bag would stay completely dry. But if I caught any decent fish that I was going to keep, I could then just spin the bag around to my front side, unzip that pocket, take the fish out of the net, slip it right into the freezer bag, zip it all back up, pop it back around, and then keep fishing. So this would allow me to keep it on ice as I was, going throughout my wet wading adventure, and make it what it was. So this is a bag. I am a huge, huge advocate. I love the Samurai tactical bag. It's great, but I've had other sling bags. Some of them were fantastic. Some of them were unbelievably cheap. It's just all about figuring out the dimensions of that bag and making it work. The final tip for you guys is to modify your bag. Look at what it has for options. My bag has some of what they call the Molly straps on the front end. It has very few. There are some other tactical bags that are covered with these straps, and it makes connecting other accessories very, very easy. But with this one, there are very few, but there are a couple of tabs, these fabric loops, nylon loops, where I was able to take a carabiner, and then using some paracord, I was able to fasten some straps together to hold my net and my catchboard firmly in place to this bag. So this way, if I'm bank fishing and we're doing a tournament, I've got everything that I need right there, at my disposal. All I have to do is just basically take the accessories off when I get to a spot, pop them back on, and then I'm on my way. But it makes it very, very easy for me to have basically one free hand and the other hand holding my rods. I don't have to carry anything else. Everything is attached to the bag. So that's my tip for this week. When it comes to bank anglers, when it comes to if you're in your kayak, this is a great way to move your stuff. I'm not a big crate guy. I just don't take that much gear at one time. This is a great way to get out there, throw the bag in the back, maybe take the 3700 box out, put it under your seat. If you're going on somebody else's boat, this way you can even actually just wear the bag while you're fishing the back end of the boat and then access your stuff easily, not take up any kind of floor space or anything like that. It makes it nice and easy. Anyway, hope you guys got something out of that. That is my just the tip. Good luck with that. If you have any questions or anything or want, maybe I should do a video, Sean, and do a walkthrough of this bag.
I think it would be extremely helpful because, excuse me, I saw the modifications you did for your catchboard.
Yep.
That one time we went out to the Connecticut River with Wild Bill.
That's right.
Really informative stuff, man. Definitely put that up. And the only thing I can add is that the bag, bringing the plastic bag with the ice just in case you do catch something edible. For those of you who do eat fish, or God forbid you deep hook, gut hook a fish, and that thing ain't going to survive.
That lake trout. Remember when out? Yeah.
Yeah. If it's legal, dude, we eat fish.
Yeah.
I mean, why not keep it? That's some great stuff, man.
Don't let it go to waste.
Yeah. Especially that modification you did for the catchboard with all the monthly tournaments going on.
Oh yeah.
Not a bad idea.
Awesome. So what do we got? What do we got next? We have, that's right. I know what we've got next.
Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
So today's Fuck This Guy segment right here is about me. Fuck me.
Very, very surprising entry this week.
Yeah, very surprising entry. So, and actually, it just happened today as we record this. While I was out on this heavily pressured body of water, and especially today, Father's Day, everybody's getting out there and fishing with their dad, or they're just getting out there to kind of you talk about a pressured body of water. Today is the day it's getting all the pressure. All the families are out. It's just, it's bananas. So, why am I on the Fuck This Guy segment? Because this is what went down. Bobby Roast Beef kind of pulled a dick move a little bit. And I kind of feel bad about it. But essentially, this is the breakdown. I was fishing along this one bank that had a series of real fishy looking spots, laydowns, lots of grass, like just great areas that just spoke to me. And I was throwing a swim jig around and just kind of doing my thing and repositioning myself. We had barely any wind today. It was a beautiful day to be out on the kayak fishing. And I go over this one area. I come around to the end of this little cove where we come up on this one point. And there's a trail that comes out on this point. And then there's basically it does like a almost like a trident shape. There's a tiny pathway that goes down to the left side of it, one to the right side of it, and then the one that's right out on the end of that point. And I saw that there were a couple of lines. Someone's, fishing off the bottom, probably fishing for trout. There's trout in this pond. And they had a couple of lines right off the front of that point. So, knowing obviously that I was not going to get too close to that point to make my way around, I start kind of, maneuvering around this cove, and I'm trying to work all of it. Well, this one guy comes over and he says to me, "Hey, I'm fishing over here." And I'm like, "Oh, dude," I'm sorry, man. Like, I didn't even see any lines, So I kind of start paddling back to kind of like give myself a little distance from him. He's like, once I apologized and kind of diffused it, it was one of these things where he was a lot more understanding. We actually had a pretty decent conversation about how they weren't biting. And then what's odd is they started biting immediately after I went to the other side of that point. Just saying. And I had gone over, and as I made my way around this point, I then saw that I just couldn't see the line because there happened to be a shadow from the trees overhead, and I couldn't see his stuff at all. So, I mean, fuck me, basically.
I'm not going to hammer you too bad on that.
Yeah.
But the way I approach things like that, and this is, I always just try to keep a head up. I'm always looking for people fishing, and I'll yell at them, "Hey, you got any lines in the water? I don't want to fuck you up."
Yeah. Yeah, good idea. Yeah, it's one of these things where I thought I saw where they had lines, and I didn't realize that they were on that one side of the point. And as I made my way around, I saw them, and I was just like, it is what it is. Now, I did hook up with one fish on the other side of that point, and these guys left shortly thereafter. They definitely saw me catch this fish. I don't know what that necessarily means, but I wasn't too close to them. This was on the other side, and it was wide open over there. But, I like to think that, it is, so fuck me.
Yeah. Open your eyes, jackass.
I know. I know. I was too in it. You know what I mean? I was like, "Oh, that looks fishy. Let's go cast up under these, branches, and let's drop this jig over here." It happens.
Didn't we get a fuck this guy story about someone it was Bill, right? Bill had run across someone's line. They just left their lines out and went into their house on a lake.
What's that? I don't remember if it was Bill, but I do remember hearing the story.
Yeah.
I think it might have been Bill.
That's the opposite of this story. This one, it goes, we always say, give people etiquette or give people space. It's part of etiquette. 50 yards is usually a thing. So it applies to us too, I guess. We got to keep our eyes open.
Oh, yeah.
It's all good.
No, 100%.
At least you apologized and had a good conversation out of it. That's that might redeem you from the fuck this guy segment, but
And you know what? There was a part of me that was like, I should offer this guy some stickers.
Oh, you should have.
I really should have. I really should have.
Definitely fuck you.
Definitely fuck me. I really should have. I didn't even think about it. I really didn't even think about it. I'm like, although I don't know if I had any in my bag, to tell you the truth. But even if the thought was there, I should have checked. And if I had them, I should have offered them. Fuck me.
But bad Robert Prosciutto.
Mm-hmm.
Bad.
Yeah. Talk about dropping the ball.
Yeah.
Oh, so let's go ahead and jump into this. We got some information about the Chronic Trips tournament and news and information regarding the July Jigs and Bigs tourney preview. So why don't we let's go ahead and you know what? I gotta go ahead and give you this music. You've earned it. You've 100% earned it. You ready?
Andy. It's like metal. Yeah, fuck yeah. Sean's going to talk about tournaments. Yeah, kick ass. All right. Welcome to the beginning of the week. Is it beginning? It's the 20th. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute, dude. If it's the 20th, Jesus. Week 3 is almost over. Holy shit.
It's crazy.
Well,
this month is flying by.
Oh, my God. All right. We are coming to the end of week 3 of the Chronic Trips tournament for this month. I'm going to go ahead and let us all know the current 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go top 5 today because there's a tie at 5 and then things drop off. Just to accentuate where the top 5 are at, I'm going to give the 6th place person just because I feel like it. So at 6th place, by himself with a with a total of 6 points is me. I just wanted to crowbar.
Place?
I'm in 6th place. Yeah, I've only got 6 points. I don't want to say what could happen over the next couple weeks or the remainder of this tournament.
Yeah.
We're not going to say anything. All I can tell you is tune in, folks. I have plans. That's all I'm going to say. Keep an eye on Sean the Fisherman. I'm subtly poised in 6th place with 6 points, and anything can happen. We'll just leave it at that. So we have a tie for 5th place. Our guy Berkshire Brett and Sticky Fred each have 10 points.
Nice.
Nelson has moved up a notch with that massive largemouth from yesterday. He's got 11 points in 4th place. In 3rd place, my boy and yours, Nate Shagnon, dude.
Nice.
16 points on the back of not 1, but 2 Massachusetts State Pin yellow perch yesterday.
That's right.
I got that phone call.
Yeah.
And he was very excited because he looks like he has set the record for yellow or white perch for chronic trips by a 1/4 inch over his buddy John Connon.
Oh, no kidding. That's
yeah,
great.
he set a record on that. Yeah, this has been a very fruitful tournament for records being set.
Yeah.
All right, and Nate's got 16, like I said. There's a little bit of a jump here to 2nd place. Jerry House is now in 2nd. I believe the last time we talked, he was in 1st place. He's got 24 points. Jerry, I tell you, man, like this year, this fishing season, every monthly I've seen Jerry participate in, he's just been a beast with multi-species. Like
Yeah,
I'm
he
looking
really
at
has.
I'm looking at his points now. He's like 1st in striper, 2nd in catfish, 2nd in perch, 2nd in pickerel, 2nd in sunfish, 2nd in trout. As far as any 5 totals goes, he's 2nd in that. It's like he's killing it, man. Jerry's all over the place with the multi-species, which is exactly what you need to do in this type of tournament. Now, the big number. Jesse Jones has jumped Jerry House for 1st place. He has 27 points. The man's catching sharks. The man's catching stingrays. The man is doing really well in saltwater, and he's got 1st place in a couple of categories in the fresh too. He's 1st in catfish. He's 1st in crappie. He's 1st in sunfish, and he's 1st in the NE. He's 1st in the NE5 based on the crazy number of sharks he's caught. He's the dude's pounding sharks.
He's pounding sharks.
This was the shark apocalypse that I honestly expected to come from Nelson in North Carolina. It has materialized in New England. The man I believe he's in New England. I don't know whatever. It's materializing somewhere else in the country, and Jesse Jones is responsible. So all that being said, we've got our 1st through 6th that I delivered today. Jesse was the 1st at 200 inches, and is on the verge of 300. He would be the 1st person in the Chronic Trips tournament to hit 300. So keep it up, Jesse. I actually sent him a little bit of an encouraging message today because he said he was out fishing for sharks this afternoon, and he was at like 280 something. So there's a record broken because my former record was 280 even. I think he was at 282 or 288, something like that. 288 maybe, whatever. Yeah, great job. Again, Nate's got that perch record. Jesse's got the shark record, and we've gone over all the other records that have been set this tournament. So, Chronic Trips once again scratching our multi-species itch around these parts for the fresh and the salt water. So, great job, everybody. Keep it up. I believe this week I'm going to be trying to contact Seth, get over to Old Glory, take care of some prizes.
Yep.
There's a reason for this week, and we'll roll from there. I do have a note. We did have a prize that is not going to be its category that actually kind of got wiped out this tournament. Unfortunately, Mark was not able to participate in this tournament. Mark Huard. So we're not going to be awarding a trout prize because it's beat Mark. It's not biggest trout. It's beat Mark. And if Mark's not here, default. So he's got some other stuff going on, and unfortunately couldn't be a part of this tournament. But hopefully he'll be back in August.
Nice.
It's very unusual to see a Chronic Trips tournament without Mark, firing 20-inch brown trout around like they're guppies.
It's true. It's true.
It's a hallmark of this tournament, and unfortunately he couldn't do it this month. So we'll see what happens for the next one, and hopefully he's got the time to punch some trout.
Right in the throat.
Right in the throat. Shifting gears slightly, the next Jigs and Bigs tournament. I am planning on having it up for pre-registration at some point this week. You and I will do a media blitz.
Yep.
At the time of this recording, it is not yet up. I'm expecting a little bit of a service call tomorrow, and hopefully the issues that are preventing me from getting this going should be resolved, and we're good to go.
That's
Knock
awesome.
on wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were, you guys are going to know immediately once registration goes open, is available for this tournament on Fishing Chaos. First off, if you're using the app with any kind of regularity for other tournaments, you'll see it show up. Also, we're going to hit it hard on Instagram, on Facebook, and we're going to drop a spot in whatever episode that we're on when this occurs. So try and get as many people registered before we start the tournament as possible. It's just a good move. So very exciting. I think it's going to be fantastic. We've got an amazing month of June lined up. July even.
July. Getting those registrations in early. It always, like, we know what Brant Rowland did in that last tournament. He came in late and then got his feet under him.
Yep.
While he was in the middle of this tournament. He basically gave everybody 2 weeks and still won it. It can happen to anybody. If you're on fish.
Oh yeah.
Keep rolling. So but for some of our folks, some of our listeners that are not competitive fishing and are not doing this stuff day in, day out, I understand it can be very intimidating coming into a tournament and you're like, man, I catch bass. And all of a sudden, what's leading? A 21? It's only 3 days into the tournament.
Yeah.
I get that. But just remember, this tournament's unique where you can chip away at that lead.
Yep.
If you beat somebody in one category, man, you're taking points from them. Everybody appreciates that.
That's exactly it. It keeps it exciting. It keeps it very exciting. So
exactly.
Don't be afraid.
Yeah, jump in, but try to jump in early. It gives you more time to fish, more time to get on the water, more time to turn fish in, and it's a blast. Yep. I did really have a blast judging all those fish last time, and I'm having a blast now with Chronic Trips, as I always do, and looking forward to the next. What do we got? So it's June is almost wrapped up.
Yep. June will be wrapped up next week.
Yep. July will be a Jigs and Bigs.
Yep.
August will be a Chronic Trips.
Mm-hmm.
September will be a Jigs and Bigs. And October, to wrap the Europe, will be a Chronic Trips.
It's going to be pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
Very, very exciting. Very exciting.
It's been great. I do have to make one. This is actually a cool note. We've actually gone through this in other tournaments. If you're saltwater fishing in the Chronic Trips and you catch stingrays, the tails don't count. It's just the body.
Just
the last, what do you call them? The little back fin.
The butt cheek fins.
Piss flaps. Whatever those things are.
Piss flaps. Oh my God, dude.
Whatever, you know what I'm talking about. The floppers, the flappers, the floppers.
Yeah.
That's the ass end of the stingray. So not the tail, not even the base of the tail, wherever those flapper things end. That's where I'm counting a stingray body.
Count your flappers.
You can catch a shitty stingray, and because of the tail, it can be 48 inches long. That's really not fair,
Yeah.
So there you go. That's all. No big deal. I did encounter that with Jesse, and unfortunately, when I moved the rules over from Fish Donkey to Fishing Chaos, for whatever reason, that got lost in the shuffle. I don't have that note in there, and I just said, "Look, this is the way we've been doing it. That's something I'm not gonna bend on." Like I bent on the video thing because we had to learn that anew.
Yeah.
But the tails, it's really not fair. So that's that for the tournament stuff.
Yep.
Fishing report. Once again,
Cheryl's
did a
killing
knock-up
it.
job. Yeah, she does. She does a great job.
Absolutely killing it with the fishing report. Definitely love it. We're lucky to have the folks feeding us some information from their respective areas. Like this is something that we take a lot of pride in. Like this is huge. So we thanks to them. Thanks to Cheryl for making it look and read like so well. She's taking a lot off our plate. So we appreciate her. That is awesome. She also
go ahead.
I was going to say she also chimed in. I did a poll recently on over the weekend about the names of different sandwiches, and what it was. I was like, what do you call this where you are? Is it a sub? Is it a hoagie? Is it a grinder? And Cheryl very enthusiastically said grinder with about 200 exclamation points. And as anyone based in Western Mass or even Connecticut, I'm learning, that's where the grinder is king.
Yeah, grinder. Yeah. This is, there's always regional names for.
It's not
things.
Just Howie's favorite app on his phone, folks.
Jeez,
I had to go there.
You did.
I did. Howie's not here.
We being in the military and being stationed and working with large groups of people from all over the country.
That's usually large people. I'm like, thanks.
Well, there's some large people too. I mean, the fitness standards weren't what they were, or weren't always what they are now.
True.
Some of the look at I'm retired now. I don't really give a shit about this. For when I initially enlisted, and everybody laughs at this when I tell this story. The fitness test for me, for my branch of service, for the first 2 to 3 years, was a cardio test where they measured your pulse and what the hell was it? I think it was your pulse and your heart rate. It was your heart rate as you got, it was almost like a mini stress test as you did more and more physical activity. But your test didn't start until your heart got to a certain rate.
Oh, okay.
So it worked in reverse for people that were extremely healthy and people that were extremely unhealthy. So I used to smoke cigarettes to get my heart rate up fast enough to start the test. Before I would go into the gym, in my gym clothes, I'd smoke a butt. I'd walk in, my heart rate would be perfect, and I would just sail through that test smoking a pack and a half a day. My shop chief was he had quit smoking 10 years prior. He was marathoning. He failed every fitness test while he was there until he retired because he never got his heart rate high enough to start the test because he was super healthy.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
He would, after the first couple of years, he's like, you sons of bitches, all you guys do is smoke butts and you win. You pass the test every time. Now, after, I'm trying to think what year that went away. I think it went away 4 years into service for me. And then after that, it actually became a push-ups, sit-ups, running test where that you can't bullshit that. I mean, you can with a couple of things, but it's not easy.
Yep.
You're getting timed on a run. You got to do so many. You're getting timed on push-ups. You're getting timed on sit-ups. So it all depends on who's counting them, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it was great because I got my fitness test today. Oh, you going to get some Gatorade and some water? Nope. Going to get a pack of Cowboy Killers. It's awful. For this last week's report, I'm gonna pull back just a little bit of beef curtain here. With the fishing report, all of us that are contributors, we have a group text set up. We send Cheryl our information, and sometimes we send pictures if we have them. Last week, Tim Jacks's section of the report came with 3 pictures. One of them, he was shirtless holding a bass, I believe. So I read the report. I do not recall if the shirtless picture was in there. So if anybody wants to see Tim Jacks without a shirt on, northeastwildwoman.com, Jigs and Bigs fishing report from last week. Have at it.
I mean, I gotta know. I gotta know now.
Bobby Rosebeef, it's 2021. You can do this without shame. Oh. Without fear of repercussion. Just do it, man. Just do it. So I'll take this moment while you're looking to thank everyone. I'm going to try and remember everyone off the top of my head. Joe from Old Glory, thank you.
Yep.
Cousin John has not contributed to the report in the past month because he has had his hands full with his brand new daughter. Happy first Father's Day to him.
That is awesome.
Ryan Bogley is part of the report.
Yes. Andy
is part of the report. My man Andy. Who else? Berkshire Bread is part of the report. Nelson is part of the report. Did I say Joe at Old Glory? I think I did, right?
I don't remember. You can mention him again. It's okay.
Yeah. Hold on. Me, Joe, Nelson, Andy, Ryan, Tim Jacks, obviously shirtless Tim Jacks, sometimes shirted Tim Jacks.
Yep.
And Cousin John. That's 7. I believe there's 7 people involved in the report. If I'm wrong on that, somebody's got and Berkshire Brett, so that's 8.
Yep.
So
Berkshire Brett makes
there we go.
There is no. We have Tim Jacks is in fact wearing a shirt on the report. We're good.
Well, that's maybe we should talk to Cheryl and say, just one little tweak from I don't want to call us management. One little tweak from
management.
Yeah, one little tweak from management and include shirtless pictures if you got them. Cheryl's listening to this going, what
She's
the fuck
like,
have I got
these
myself into?
guys are idiots. And she's not wrong. That's the
No,
best part. She's 100% right on the money.
Yeah. Well, she's having a good time with it. Whatever.
We still got to get out and fish with her.
I know. And one other first show-related first Father's Day.
Yes.
My favorite graphic designer, creator, helper of all things, and yours, Phil. Phil had his first.
Oh,
Phil and
that's
his wife had their
right.
first.
That's huge. Happy Father's Day to you, Phil.
Yeah, Phil
many
and
more.
cousin John, both of them just, I mean, you know how COVID was.
Oh, yeah.
People stayed indoors and made babies. And it happened all around us. So
Yeah, it's
congrats
true.
to everybody on their first Father's Day. Thank you for all that you do for the show. And man, to be quite honest, I think that's all I have for now. How about you?
That about does it. No. One thing we do want to mention is the merchandise over at jigsandbigs.com. You guys
What am I thinking?
I mean, we got amazing shirts. Show some love, show some support. If you look at that report, at the fishing report, you'll see quite often a lot of the Jigs and Bigs merch on. Dare I say, not only are these 7 gents, amazing newsmen,
Philanthropists.
if you will, but and they're bringing you up to date information that you can use, but they're like our models for our gear, which is amazing. I can't believe it. So good for them.
Yeah, I honestly can't wait, because we're going to get reports from Mantis to see how these items have been, what's more popular. Man, I'm seeing a lot of people, and people that I didn't expect either, wearing the Sean the Fisherman metal shirt.
Yep. Well,
So that
it's
has
a good
been-
look. It's a good design.
Yeah, it's quite popular. And, Phil, I talked to him recently, and he just wanted to make sure because, it was his design on the fish and then my design with the font and everything. And we just tag teamed it. Phil wants everybody to know he really strove on that skeletal fish. If you look closely and you hold it up to our logo, the logo that Bobby designed, it's just it's a dead nut skeleton of that. So
that fish.
See what Phil did there? I did.
Yeah. No, it is awesome, man. I love it. I think it's fantastic.
Yep.
Well, I think we should go ahead and throw to our next break. And when we come back, we're going to wrap this show up with a little bit of info from left field in a big way, in a major way. We're talking about adventures. We'll be back, guys, after this quick message from our good friends at Three Bells Outfitters. Jigs and Bigs is proud to announce that we're being supported by Three Bells Outfitters. Located in Smith Cove on the Niantic River, TBO is Connecticut's premier paddle sports retailer. They're a full-service shop specializing in kayaks and paddleboards for everything from recreation to tournament fishing. Three Bells is an authorized dealer of Hobie, Jackson, Feel Free, Native, and Bonafide kayaks, as well as many paddleboard brands. Not sure of what kind of SUP or kayak you want? TBO offers free demos of all brands. Want to go for an extended test drive? They have a full-service rental facility on site. Three Bells also offers a complete rigging service for your kayak with such brands as Yak Attack, Yak Gear, Burley Pro, Yak Power, Torpedo, and more. The sky is the limit. You can visit Three Bells Outfitters in person or online at threebellsoutfitters.com. They ship anywhere in the lower 48 states or order online and pick up at the store. Can't make it to the store to pick up your kayak or worried the freight company might damage your purchase? Three Bells Outfitters offers a white glove delivery of kayaks within a 225-mile radius of their store at a rate less than typical freight carriers. They will deliver your kayak, set it up, and answer any questions you may have. Be sure to follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Don't forget to tell them Jigs and Bigs sent you. Three Bells Outfitters, because life is better on the water. do it for this week's Jigs and Bigs, guys. This was a really, really great show. We got a couple of things that we do want to talk about here. Like we've mentioned numerous times, we're recording this right now on at 9 o'clock at night on Father's Day. Tomorrow we have something kind of interesting happening. A collective menage, if you would, of Old Glory Outdoors, Hookset Hoodlums fam, Jigs and Bigs fam are getting together at a Western Mass staple body of water to do a little bit of fishing. And Sean, I miss this whole thing. There's talk about a $1 bet.
Yeah, so I've seen numerous pros do this. I guess when they'll face off against each other, they have a $1 bill. All right, and you can go on YouTube and look this shit up, or wherever you want. And so let's say me and you go out fishing, Bobby, right? We each have a $1 bill on us. Whatever the terms are, whether it's largest single bass, best three, there is a winner and a loser. The loser has to take a pen or a marker, take his dollar bill and write something self-deprecating on there. Bobby, thanks for kicking my taint crooked on this date. You won 5-1. Signed, Sean the Fisherman.
I see.
It's only $1. We all have $1.
Yep.
And one person's going to have more dollars at the end than everybody else.
I like that.
You in?
I like that. Yeah. I'm definitely in.
It's simple. If you want to look at, there's nothing in this rule. I mean, you got to write something.
I already know exactly what's going on my dollar.
Yeah. There's already, I mean, you got to be submissive. Like you have to say, hey, look, dude, sorry, you won. You won. You beat my ass. Yep. You kicked my ass. Thank you. If you want to put a border of little penises on there,
it's on you.
I think it's against the rules. Yeah. You know, it's not against the rules. It's you'll be fine.
I like that idea. And you know that these dollars will probably go on display.
Oh, what do you mean probably? I would say they're definitely
That's what I'm saying. With all parties that we have involved, this is going to be fun.
So there's five of us going out, right?
I think it's just 5 of us.
So I believe myself and Wild Bill will be in kayaks.
Yep.
And also, what is Delirious Angler taking?
I'm not sure if Delirious is doing his boat or if he's doing a kayak.
Either one. So he's the third that's solo. And then you will be riding shotgun on OGO Joe.
Yep.
Old Glory Outdoors Joe. You will be there in his boat kicking some ass or losing $1 to Sean the Fisherman.
Could be.
It happened.
It could be.
It happened.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty it's a ball busting bet. It's more about the ball busting than it is the dollar bill.
Obviously.
Yep. And we'll get in on it tomorrow. So I think I know Bill is getting there a little later, so I think it's probably a smarter idea. I'm getting there extremely early because I only have so much time to fish. I have shit going on in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. I think it might not be a bad idea. Maybe I'll send a text out or message out to everybody saying, hey, like no matter what time you get there, whenever the person that gets there the latest, if that's Bill, we all meet at the ramp so that way we're all starting at the same place, whichever way you want. And we'll see how this goes. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's exciting. We'll put a little spin on it with the competition, whether it's best fish or best 3 or best 2, whatever we decide on. But we'll have some fun.
I think it'll be a blast. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't fished up there in a while.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be really good.
And I'm sure, based on knowing, how all of us interact with different types of social media, I'm sure 1, if not 2 people will have GoPros on them. So while I can't say with certainty, hey, check this shit out next week, you're
probably going to see some stuff.
Keep an eye out on, whether it's us, Old Glory, Delirious Angler, or Hookset Hoodlums.
Yep. You
may see something recapping this gigantic shenanigan coming on tomorrow. We'll find out. But it's going to be fun either way.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. And I do actually, when we wrap this up, I have to charge some GoPro batteries and get all that stuff together. One thing that I do definitely want to jump in here with is that something really cool happened this week. And I didn't really want to put it in the week in review because it's so just random. But I did something that I haven't done in about 20 years. And I went to go see a barber. Since I started shaving my head, I've been shaving my head now for right around 20 years. that kind of negated the need to ever see a professional. You know what I mean? I basically have been, cutting my own hair forever. That's what it feels like anyway. And I had, I'm going on kind of a beard adventure. I'm looking to try to have the best beard life I can, if that makes any sense. You know what I'm saying? It started with COVID. Figured I'd use that opportunity to grow a full beard out, because of my job and everything, I'll be honest with you, it kind of sucks to have that awkward stage of this isn't ready for public viewing yet. This is bad. You know what I mean? And when you're, in front of people on a microphone, entertaining 4, 5, 6 nights a week sometimes, it's not a good thing. So I used COVID as an opportunity to just say, screw it, I'm going for it. And I grew a wonderful beard, an epic beard. In fact, I felt like probably about the end of summer, right around Labor Day, I think I even said to you, I was like, I feel like I'm starting to be that guy with the beard in our circle. You know what I mean?
and I responded with, thank God you're not that guy with the soul patch anymore.
Well, this was pre-soul patch that I initially said that because
yeah, that's right.
I had at this point now keep in mind, I couldn't see a barber at that point. I couldn't get anything, groomed or maintained or anything. So I was, looking up beard trimming tips. It's just so that I didn't mess. I've been trimming my own facial hair forever. You know what I mean? If I mess something up, I just roll with it, and fix it the best I can, or leave it alone and then fix it later, whatever it might be. I get it. But when you invest the amount of time, months to grow a full beard, you mess something up, it does something to you, to your soul, And that's what happened in the fall. It was about mid-September. It was right after the bomb hot sauce challenge. Right after that challenge had gone down, I ended up looking like the bad guy in every Western film because I messed up my beard and I shaved it and I left nothing but the mustache and the little soul patch right there. And Sean, to this day, will not let me forget that. Never.
I won't.
And for a minute, I kind of liked that. I was okay with it. My wife thought it was crazy at first, but I don't know that she really hated it as much as she let on. Anyway,
I'm just looking at this from my metric based fucking lifestyle
and it is a lifestyle.
Your fishing took a shit. It took a nosedive with that fucking
I was just going to get into that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It was just I feel like I lost the beard and all my mojo just freaking was gone. So I said, okay, cool. I'm not going to shave everything off and just start new. What I'm going to do is just trim everything really low and then just start growing it all out again. And, I messed this up, so I'm not going to go as extreme. I'm going to keep it nice and tight. And that's what I did through November, December, January, February. We started to get to about March, and I was like, I kind of miss having the bulk. I like that. That was one thing that I did like. So I started letting it go again. I didn't get any bounce back from the wife or anything. So I'm like, we're just going to roll with it. And then it got time to about the week before last, I decided I was like, I really got to trim things up, specifically up here, by my sideburns, and just defining giving it some shape, and I decided I'm vaccinated. I know I can go to a barber and not have to wear a mask and do whatever. We're not wearing masks, and I'm not messing up my beard, with a mask. So I'm like, let's go see a barber. We'll see what can happen. Holy shit. Emily over at Parlor Faded, which is a barbershop right in my neighborhood, she just knocked it out of the park. Fantastic. I mean, I can't believe I posted. I was so blown away. I even asked her. I was like, while I'm here, you might as well shave my head. She shaved my head with a straight razor, which was I live for that. Old school, classic wet shaving. That's my thing. But what does this mean? Well, it means I'm fully embracing the journey that I'm about to embark on. So much so that there is a beard products company that has made contact with me after I had spoken to them about some of their products and things like that, and I may be working with them moving forward, with some cool stuff. So We'll see what happens, guys. So if you are a man of the bearded variety or a woman of the bearded variety, or you're have someone in your life who is living the beard life, I've got some stuff for you that could be helpful. Details on that coming, but I figured it was so just random and it just kind of all fell together, and we'll see what happens.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations that you're getting the beard help you need.
I'm a beard model is essentially what it's getting down to.
I've tried growing mine, man. Mine is spotty all over the place. It when it doesn't join the mustache and the beard, it just looks not good on me. It's just I one of the things the military took from me was all those years I possibly could have been growing a beard.
Yep.
It ain't gonna happen now. So I'm resigned to my fate. And we've all seen over the past year. I tried to grow my hair too.
And you've shared your experience, in fact, getting an amazing deal on an Indiana Jones box set at a local what would you call that? Thrift shop? Yeah, local thrift shop,
consignment or
consignment.
Thrift,
there we go. Local consignment shop, and your experiences there when you were like, yeah, the beard's got to go. But
yeah, and the wife likes the baby face anyways, and it's just at this point, it's my look. I own it.
Yeah,
I wear a baseball cap some days. It's all good. It's all good. I tried. Yeah. I gave it the old try, but I'm jealous of your beard.
But it was just one of these things. I mean, I can't believe that I'm like, really? And you want me to represent? Really? Okay. Well, we'll see what happens.
I'm going to live vicariously through your beard adventure.
You will.
That's it.
That's
what I'm going to do.
Embrace the follicles.
That's your motto. Does any other beard company have that as a motto?
I'm sure somebody does, but beard company.
Beard company, any beard product company, facial hair product company. That should be your motto for this whole thing. Just embrace the follicles.
Maybe. Maybe. I like it.
Contact the company, see how they feel about it. That's your contribution to this whole thing. Aside from, using the product and slathering up your beard with all sorts of good stuff.
Oh yeah. And I'll tell you, it was an adventure trying out their products. Very, very good stuff. Quality shit. Really, really kind of impressed me.
On that note of
hit me.
Doing some collaborating or having some fun with other companies that are reaching out to us.
Yep.
We have a little bit of a history now with a power company, with a battery company for kayaks. I know months ago I had I told the story about the 12 volt sealed lead acid battery that I used to use for my fish finder. That one early morning, I had opened my truck door and dropped the battery. It came out with the door, the way the car was sitting on a hill, and it landed on my foot, and I thought I broke my foot. Like, it was that destroyed.
Yep. And
since that time, I always looked for alternatives. And a couple of years ago, I came across Naqua batteries, which are not even as big as a baseball. And they're 12 volt. They have a 4.4 amp and they have a 10 amp hour batteries. So I bought a 4.4 for my Native Ultimate. It powered the fish finder perfectly. It would go 2 days sometimes. It wasn't a big power draw. It was really, really, really perfect. So I could go camping and fish for 2 full days, not even worry about having to recharge it. And then once we got involved with Three Bells, now I have 2 of them running the fish finder on the Native Slayer, and it's freaking phenomenal. That is a bit more of a power draw. So those 2 4 amp hours, maybe I'll think about the 10 amp hours right now, but right now it's working fine. I just have to recharge them a little more than I did with the other boat.
Yep.
And then I think I recounted at some point in the show where I helped Rachel remotely install hers. She had to do the wire splicing for the adapter for the power, and it went well, and she loves them to death. Rachel being RJW _Marine World.
Yep.
On
My Marine World.
My Marine World. God, I always forget that my in there. So she loves it to death, and she is great on social media. When she finds a product she likes, she jumps all over it and
fully supports them. Yeah.
Yeah, and she gets a lot of attention from companies that, she sports their gear. Naqua reached out to her. She is now on their pro staff. I believe it's pro staff. Is that the correct term? There's a fishing team or pro staff.
I think so. It's one or the other. Yeah, I think it's a pro staff.
I don't want to misspeak on that, but she's representing their products. And very nicely and unasked for, when she talked with them, she turned to them and said, look, I didn't know about your products until Sean the Fisherman from the Jigs and Big Show said, if you're going to do this, get one of these.
Yep.
And I have to thank Naqua. Heidi at Naqua, thank you. It came yesterday. I opened it up this morning with my other presents. I got a very nice little care package from Naqua. It had a T-shirt and a couple stickers in it and an ID wallet holder.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm slapping those stickers on there tomorrow before I hit the water. And hey, I love their products. I recommend them because I love them.
Yep.
And this is just one case where the maker of the product heard about my recommendations and thanked me with a T-shirt. So
that's awesome.
That was pretty awesome. And hopefully, I think we might be hearing a little more from Naqua in the future. We'll see how things progress.
That's huge, man. I love it. It's when stuff like that goes full circle that way. It's like it's the best. You know, it really doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic! Exactly. This was a pretty damn good show.
Dude, we did really good today.
Yeah, I feel pretty solid about that.
We're entertaining as hell.
We really are. Guys, we're going to go ahead and put a fork in this sucker, man. I hope you guys had a great Father's Day. I truly do. Hope you were good to your dads. That's always a good thing. Remember, guys, be versatile out there. Go ahead and re-listen to that Just the Tip segment there. I kind of rambled for a little bit, but there's some good stuff in there. It's all about versatility. Anyway, guys, next week, just another reminder, we have our special episode that's running on Tuesday the 29th. It'll drop, and it's going to be that conversation, a roundtable, if you will, about advantages when it comes to kayak fishing. How we're going to weigh in with everything. We're going to define a few things. We're going to have a conversation. I'm sure there's going to be lots of differing opinions. We'll just kind of figure out how it's all going to go. But I think it's going to be a fun conversation and hopefully something that will entertain and enlighten the audience. So hope you guys have a great one. Be great to each other, everybody, guys. We'll see you next week with another episode of Jigs and Bigs on behalf of Sean the Fisherman, myself, Bobby Roast Beef. You guys have yourself the best time possible. Enjoy. Enjoy your time out on the water. Do what you got to do to make it all happen. And we will see you guys next time. Tight line.